Welcome to GZ Coins World YouTube channel where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures. Today you are going to discover for Liberty $quarter that could shack you right out of your seat. A coin you've walked past 100 times. A piece of change you may have thrown in a jar could be worth a staggering $250,000 today. The 1965 Liberty $quarter. A simple American coin hiding secrets of rare errors, historical transitions, and a collector's dream. Buckle up. What you're about to discover might change how you look at pocket change forever. Let's rewind to the turbulent 1960s. The Vietnam War was raging, civil rights movements were erupting across America, and amid this chaos, a small but powerful shift occurred in the U.S. monetary system. The year was 1965. And this year marked the death of silver coinage in American circulation. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But with the price of silver skyrocketing and hoarding becoming a national hobby, the U.S. Mint made a game-changing decision to remove silver from circulating dimes and quarters. The new quarter would now be clad a sandwich of copper and nickel layers. From the outside, it looked like a typical silver coin. But inside, the soul of the coin had changed forever. Enter the 1965 Washington quarter. But what made this coin so important? And why are some examples now worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The obverse of the 1965 quarter features the timeless profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. His image, first introduced in 1932, remained unchanged in this transitional year. Just below his neck rests the word Liberty, a powerful declaration embedded into every U.S. coin. To his left, "In God We Trust." And below him, the date 1965. But here's where things get very, very interesting. You see, 1965 wasn't just a year of metal transition. It was also a year of immense pressure at the U.S. Mint. Millions of coins were being produced daily, and mistakes began to slip through. During this chaotic switch from silver to clad, some quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets. These rare silver 1965 quarters are the crown jewels of modern coin collecting. So, how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is the one that could make you rich? Step 1. Check the edge. A clad coin shows a visible copper line running through the edge. But a silver quarter? That edge is pure silver, no red, no brown. Step 2. Weigh the coin. A clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. But a silver planchet quarter from that year? It weighs about 6.25 grams. That tiny difference could be worth a fortune. Now let's talk about money. Actual auctions. RealCash.in 2014. A 1965 quarter accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet sold at auction for over $12,000. But it didn't stop there. Another example with high-grade mint condition and verified silver content sold for a jaw-dropping $35,000. And that's not even the peak. A near-perfect, mint state 1965 quarter, struck in silver, free of blemishes. Well-centered and preserved, has been estimated by top numismatic experts and auction houses to be worth up to $250,000 in today's collector's market. That's $250,000 for a 25-cent piece. But the silver planchet isn't the only mystery of the 1965 quarter. There are other rarities and errors worth big bucks. Double dies. Off-center strikes. Wrong metal planchets. Even transitional errors like a 1965 quarter mistakenly struck on a dime planchet have sold for thousands. Collectors crave these coins not just for their rarity, but for the story they tell, a story of change, haste, and human error at a time when America was rapidly evolving. Let's zoom out. 1965 was a turning point. The Coinage Act of 1965 wasn't just about metal. It was about trust. The U.S. government had to convince the public that coins without silver still held value. It banned mint marks to confuse hoarders. It ramped up production to flood the market. It removed silver from dimes and quarters entirely, and even reduced silver in half dollars by 40%. The country transitioned from wealth-based metal coins to fiat-based token currency. And through all this, the humble quarter, one of the most used denominations in daily American life, was at the center of the storm. So here's the million-dollar question, or rather the $250,000 question. Could you have one? The answer is yes. These coins weren't released in fancy collectors' boxes. They were circulated. They passed through the hands of truck drivers, school kids, gas station attendants. Many are still out there hiding in change jars, stuck behind couch cushions, sitting unnoticed in dusty drawers. Every single 1965 quarter you encounter holds the thrilling possibility that it could be a life changer. If you find a 1965 quarter with a silver edge, get it tested. If it weighs more than 5.7 grams, get it graded. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Preserve it. Because if it's the real deal, you could be holding something worth more than most cars, homes, or even retirement accounts. Imagine the moment. You find that old quarter. You do the tests. You send it off for grading. And the report comes back MS67 silver planchet. Auction house offers start rolling in. Bids hit $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. Finally, a winning bid comes in $250,000. And your life changes forever, from pocket change to payday. So next time you get a handful of change, take a second look. That 1965 quarter might not just be 25 cents. It might be history. It might be treasure. And it just might be the key to a $250,000 future. Stay curious. Stay searching. And as always, may your next coin be the one that changes everything. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dive coin stories, hidden values, and real collector secrets. Your next great discovery might be just one coin away. What if I told you that a coin you've seen 1,000 times before, a coin that has slipped through your fingers without notice, could actually be worth $17.5 million? Yes, a 25-cent piece, just a quarter struck in the year 1974, now valued at over $17.50 million. It may sound unbelievable, like a myth whispered among coin collectors. But the story you're about to hear is 100% real, a tale of history, error, rarity, and unexpected fortune. Now we're diving into the shocking legacy of the 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar. A modern-day treasure hiding in plain sight. This is the video you didn't know you needed to see. This is the 1974 quarter like you've never seen before. Let's go back to the year 1970 for a time of change, confusion, and transition in American history. President Richard Nixon had just resigned, and Gerald Ford had stepped into office. The Watergate scandal rocked the nation. Inflation was on the rise, gas prices were soaring, and Americans were beginning to lose faith in their government. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint kept running, day and night, producing coins for a country that was constantly spending. The Washington quarter, a coin first introduced in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday, had long been a reliable piece of currency. But in 1974, as the Mint was preparing for changes in both materials and methods, something incredible happened, something very few people noticed at the time, and that's how one of the rarest coins in U.S. history was born. Let's begin with the design. The obverse, or front of the coin, displays a powerful left-facing profile of George Washington sculpted by artist John Flanagan. Above his head, the word Liberty is proudly stamped in bold capital letters. To the left, the solemn words, "In God We Trust." And below, the year that holds the secret, 1974. At first glance, it's ordinary, but in reality it's anything but. In the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint faced enormous challenges. Silver had already been removed from quarters a decade earlier, in 1965. Since then, quarters had been struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. These coins were designed to mimic silver but were much cheaper to produce. However, during the transition period in 1974, the Mint experimented with different compositions, test strikes, and planchets, the blank discs used to make coins. These experiments were supposed to be kept strictly in-house, never meant to be released to the public. But sometimes mistakes happen, and from those mistakes legends are born. In the chaos of production, a few prototype coins were struck using planchets meant for silver dollars or foreign coins. One such quarter minted in 1974 without a mint mark, weighing over 6.25 grams, struck on a pure silver planchet, would later go on to shock the entire numismatic world. This wasn't just a silver coin. This was a perfect storm, a 1974 quarter struck in silver with proof-like surfaces and evidence of double die errors, meaning the design was impressed on the coin. twice, creating a doubled appearance in the letters and date. Experts estimate that only one known example exists in this exact condition. This mysterious coin was discovered decades later by a private collector going through an old inherited coin jar. At first, they noticed it felt different, slightly heavier, with a bright silver shine and a completely smooth edge with no copper strip. They sent it in for professional grading. The result: PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service confirmed the coin was struck in 90% silver, weighed 6.25 grams, showed proof-like surfaces, and included a double die error. They gave it a grade of MS 68 PL Mint State 68. Proof-like. A truly once-in-a-lifetime grade for such a coin. When the coin went up for auction in 2022, few people expected what would happen next. The opening bid was high, $1 million. Then, it jumped to $5 million soon. Two ultra-high net worth collectors, one from Hong Kong, the other from the United States, went head-to-head. The final bid: $17.5 million. Yes, $17.5 million for a single quarter. A record that still stands today. This is the holy grail of modern quarters. The combination of errors, silver composition, proof strike, doubled die is almost statistically impossible. It's a coin that shouldn't exist, but it does. And that's why it's priceless to the right buyer. Now here's the real question: could you have one of these quarters without even knowing it? Here's what you need to look for. Point 1. Weight. A standard 1974 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours weighs 6.25 grams, you might have a silver error. Point 2. Edge. A normal clad coin has a copper stripe on the edge. A silver coin has a solid silver edge with no coloration. Point 3. Sound. A silver coin makes a high-pitched ring when dropped on a solid surface. A clad coin sounds dull by comparison. Point 4. Visual doubling. Look closely at the Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and 1974. If any of these show a doubling effect, you may have a doubled die error. Point 5. Surface quality. If your coin has mirrored fields and frosted devices, it could be a proof-like strike, an indicator of a test coin or special strike. So where could these coins be hiding? They're not in museums. They're not locked in vaults. They're still in circulation in people's homes, in old coin collections, in sock drawers, in inherited jars, in forgotten change from 40 years ago. They're out there, and you could be the one to find the next one. Imagine the feeling. You pick up a coin you've seen 100 times before. You notice something odd. You weigh it. You test it. You send it in. And when the report comes back: 1974 silver Liberty quarter MS 68 proof like doubled die obverse, one of a kind. Estimated value $17.50 million. That's not just a coin. That's life-changing wealth. The 1974 Liberty quarter dollar. A piece of history. A minting mystery. A modern treasure worth more than gold, diamonds, or oil. So next time you get change, next time you open that dusty coin jar, take a closer look, because your future might just be hiding in your pocket. Join us for more true stories about rare coins, hidden fortunes, and the unbelievable value hiding in everyday change. Your journey to treasure starts now. Subscribe today. It was just another quarter. A coin passed between hands in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines. It looked ordinary, simple copper nickel, with the face of George Washington, stamped with the date 1980 and a tiny D under the bust. But what no one knew, what few even suspected, was that this specific quarter would become one of the most valuable coins in American history. Now we bring you the astonishing, true story of the 1980 D Liberty quarter dollar, a coin now worth $10.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $10.5 million for a coin you might have overlooked in your loose change. This is not a fantasy. This is numismatic reality. Welcome to the story of the most mysterious and valuable quarter of the modern era. To understand why the 1980 D quarter is so special, we need to go back to the early 1980s. America had just stepped into a new decade. The country was recovering from recession, gas prices were stabilizing, and Ronald Reagan was preparing to take the presidential oath. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins to meet the nation's demand for cash. In the midst of all this production, one particular coin rolled off the press at the Denver Mint, stamped with a small letter D just below George Washington's neck. It looked like any other quarter. But this one.it was hiding a secret, one that would go unnoticed for decades. The obverse of the 1980 Liberty Quarter features the classic portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932. Above Washington's head, Liberty bold, timeless. To the left, I in God we trust, a nation's moral compass. Below the neck, the date 1980, and to the right of it, a small capital D signifying it was minted in Denver. But what makes this coin worth millions? The answer lies not just in how it looks but in how it was made and what went wrong. The 1980s marked an era of high-speed coin production. The U.S. Mint, under pressure to meet demand, produced over 635 million quarters at the Denver facility alone in 1980. Mistakes were inevitable. But one mistake in particular created a once-in-a-generation rarity. One of the 1980 quarters was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet, a blank coin disc left over from an earlier production run, possibly from a foreign coin or mint testing inventory. It should not have existed. But it did, and not only was it silver, it was also struck using misaligned dies, creating a noticeable off-center error and featuring a bold double die on both sides, something experts now call a triple error quarter. When this unique coin was finally discovered in 2020, tucked inside an old veteran's cigar box in Colorado, it was submitted to both PCGS and NGC for authentication. The final result: 1980 quarter. Struck on silver planchet. Off-center strike. Double die obverse and reverse weight 6.25 grams, grade MS68 plus. Coin experts declared it a once-in-a-century mistake. A spectacular anomaly. It didn't just break records, it shattered them. When the coin hit the private auction market in early 2023, elite collectors and international investors gathered online and in person. Bidding started at $500,000. Within minutes, it leapt past $1 million, then $3 million, then $7 million. The final winning bid: $10.5 million, the highest price ever paid for a post-1964 U.S. quarter. To put that into perspective, that's more than the price of a Bugatti Chiron, a luxury yacht, or even some mansions in Beverly Hills, all for a 25-cent coin. And the best part: there could be more out there. Here's what to check if you think you've got a 1980 quarter worth millions. 1. The edge. Most modern quarters have a copper core with a reeded edge showing a thin brown line. A silver planchet will show a pure silver-colored edge with no copper stripe. 2. The weight. Use a precision scale. A normal 1980 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver error version weighs 6.25 grams or more. 3. Die errors. Look closely at the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1980. Doubling or ghost images may indicate a double die error. 4. Strike alignment. If the image is off-center, or the rim appears unbalanced, you may have an off-center strike, a valuable mint error. 5. Surface texture. A mirror-like proof-style finish on a circulation strike coin could mean a test strike, or a die anomaly, another indicator of rarity. This coin could be anywhere. In your coin jar. In your grandfather's army chest. In an old roll of quarters from the bank, even in a random handful of change from the supermarket. The 1980 Liberty quarter is not locked behind museum glass. It was circulated. It was spent. It survived, and it's waiting to be found. Imagine the moment you find a coin just like any other, but then the weight is off, the edge is silver, the lettering is doubled. You submit it for grading and the result changes your life forever. $10.5 million. From a single quarter to financial freedom. The 1980 Liberty quarter. Struck in error. Disguised by time. Forgotten by millions. But rediscovered by one, and now worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Don't underestimate your change. Don't overlook your quarters. Because that next coin you drop in a donation jar or toss into a toll booth might just be the next $10.5 million miracle. What's in your pocket? What's in your coin jar? And what will you find when you finally take a closer look? This is more than money. This is American history. This is your opportunity. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, price updates, expert tips, and hidden treasures you never knew you had. Hit the bell icon and join the journey, because your next great find might be just one coin away.